Welcome to my presentation of my methodological design, including the identification of tools to measure students' engagement. My name is Asiye Ozel. Here is my assignment submission page where you'll find my name, student identification number, and Weebly address where you'll find my presentation along with a declaration of my submission. The Meadows Public School is a small-sized school located in Seven Hills within the western suburbs of Sydney. The Meadows Public School has a population of approximately 250 students and has reported that 27 students attending the premises is of an Aboriginal background, and there is also an increasing number of students who have a language background other than English. The school consists of 11 mainstream classes and one support class for students with mild intellectual disability. During my prac at the Meadows, I had the opportunity to teach a composite class of years 5 and 6 students. In my class, there were a total of 23, and of these 23, 9 of them were in Year 5 and 14 were in Year 6. Of these students, there were only 2 who had been diagnosed with ADHD and 1 student who had a serious attendance issue where she only attended 6 days within the 2 school terms. The students in my class had varied academic abilities, and there were some very bright students in all different KLAs, which allowed me to plan lessons effectively to suit the interests and needs of all my learners. The school had a great funding system and resources, and every student within my classroom had access to a laptop or iPad to work with individually. Most importantly, I can confidently say I had the best mentor teacher. He has been teaching for over 13 years and is a very resourceful, practical and approachable teacher. He has had experience teaching all stages and is currently the school's assistant principal. He has built a strong relationship with students, the parents and the school community. Throughout my first teaching experience, I have come to realize that the typical way of teaching I always had pictured in my head was one that represents a monologic teaching style. That is, teacher talks and students listen, teacher writes and students copy, and teacher asks and students answer. This style, I believe, is a good way to have control over all my students and the lesson I deliver. But then I ask myself, are my students interested? Am I motivating them? Is it engaging? Are they even learning? I want to create a shared space within my classroom where students can freely provide an input, an opinion, and an idea on a relevant topic during lessons and work collaboratively to achieve a common goal. As Rupert Wegeruff states, in a real dialogue, you can't say who said it, who didn't say it. It's not important. You're working together. And therefore, collective thinking engages students to create a shared space where each person's idea is acknowledged. Through dialogic teaching, students are invited to share their feelings and ideas during class discussions and are not persuaded into following one particular knowledge, but rather are encouraged to challenge and question what they already know by considering their peers' ideas and inputs. Within this style of teaching, exploratory talk has the power of keeping students engaged as a class, develop self-confidence in knowledge and expressing this knowledge confidently, working collaboratively to achieve a common goal, and develop self-reflection skills. Therefore, within this methodological design, I will plan and identify engaging strategies to implement dialogic teaching within my practice to enhance my pedagogy and meet the needs of my students. So for this research action plan, the planned mini-unit of work is a science project on the formation of the Earth. Students will read texts, view videos, and develop a strong understanding to meet the science outcomes and content descriptors through the planned engaging experiences. So to assess student knowledge and evaluate engagement levels with the use of dialogic teaching in my pedagogy, I will use 3 different types of data collection tools and strategies. One of them will be an observation schedule. During my lessons, I'll be using this observation template to note down my observations, as I believe taking notes on this template will be beneficial to jot down any relevant findings quickly without wasting time and do a short analysis on the spot. However, my observation strategy will not be limited to this template, as I will keep performing spontaneous observations of anything relevant for my records of students' learning and engagement. Observations are a great tool for data collection as it provides a rich opportunity to analyse student involvement within the classroom and helps educators prepare follow-up activities in alignment to what they observe. However, a limitation in this data collection method is that the teacher does not have the power to hear or see every relevant detail within the classroom that could be data or record worthy. A second data collection strategy I'll be using is work samples. Work samples are a great way for teachers to assess students' knowledge, as it provides us with progressive and ending results of a student's learning of a unit. It allows us to judge, examine, and evaluate students' learning without having to rush and make on-the-spot assumptions and assessments without carefully looking into detail and understanding students' strengths and weaknesses on the topic. I will annotate students' works with sticky notes on some strengths and weaknesses to assist me in assessing their knowledge, as well as identify the level of engagement they have shown throughout the unit. However, a limitation of this data collection tool is that it limits our assessment of students to a final product they provide us with, which may not be the only representation of their learning. They may have had a lot more engagement and knowledge on the unit, but may not have been able to express this well enough through their work samples. Therefore, it is crucial that we take into consideration other data collection methods in alignment to work samples. A final data collection tool I will engage with will be verbal interactions. This powerful statement from Latham et al. Has imitated an excitement for me to enhance my pedagogy through the use of dialogic teaching. A classroom has a heartbeat that can be felt through the conversations, negotiations, and creations that occur within it. So, founding my data collection strategy on this statement, I will be in search of students' conversations and dialogues that prove their engagement levels as well as learning. I will place a recording device in the middle of each table which will record students' conversations at all times. This will help me listen to these audio recordings in my own time to identify how engaged my students were through their conversations of learning. Again, there is also another limitation on this type of data collection strategy, and that is the teacher not having the power to hear all conversations that happen within the classroom at all times amongst students while engaging in group work. Therefore, the teacher may not be able to hear or miss some really important and highly relevant discussions of students' engagement and learning. So this will be the first lesson of my planned mini unit of work. As a class, we will view a short video on the formation of the solar system on YouTube as an introductory to the topic. Then we will focus specifically on Earth. To do this, we will read as a class a short text that explains how Earth was formed. After we read, as a class, we will discuss the formation of the Earth in 5 simple steps and answer a few questions that I will provide on a worksheet. I will use these samples for reference to students' learning and assessment, and here will be the perfect opportunity to observe students' engagement as well as learning through their input in the class discussion. Also, there will be class discussions on topic as well as conversations between students on the same table, and this will be a great way to assess verbal interactions. So for this lesson, our measures of engagement will be engaging experiences that are highly cognitive and effective, as students take enjoyment out of watching videos and stay in task throughout. We'll also have the engaging processes of student self-assessment and student community of reflection, as students are recapping their own knowledge. And lastly, we've got the engaging messages of voice, as we are having a whole class discussion reflecting our learning. So this will be lesson 2. I will begin this lesson with a short discussion on what the students remember from what they've learnt previously. And in this lesson, students are going to prepare for a stop motion video on the formation of the Earth to illustrate the 5 steps. The students will use this lesson to plan their mini project, and we will have a short class discussion in the beginning where I will address the project and provide the guidelines. Students will then proceed with planning their work by forming pairs and discussing how they will go on with the work and identify what steps they will take, what resources they will use, and write up a project plan using a template I will provide for them. These complete planning templates will allow me to recognise students' understanding of what is expected, their plan, and how they will go along with the implementation of the project. I will look for group collaboration and how students maintain a positive and engaging work environment. It is important to observe body language in this lesson to observe levels of engagement. I believe this is the most important data collection tool for this lesson, as there will be lots of peer collaboration, self-reflection, and peer review going on amongst all discussions. It is crucial to use a recording device between each pair while working on the mini project to ensure all conversations are recorded for future assessment of students' knowledge and understanding. So for this lesson, our measures of engagements will be ongoing experiences that are highly cognitive, effective, and operative, as students take enjoyment out of watching videos and they're planning their mini project in pairs. We've got the engaging processes of student self-assessment and the engaging processes of student community of reflection. And this is when we recap what they've learned already and the class reflection of previous learning. Then we've got the engaging messages of voice, knowledge, and control, as we are having a whole class discussion reflecting our learning, discussing our own ideas, and working together with a friend to achieve a common goal through their own ideas and construction. So lesson 3 will be our last lesson on this mini unit of work. This lesson will make space for students to put their mini project into action. Using the resources and materials I provide for them, they will make their mini stop motion movies using an app on their iPads. At the end of the lesson, they will present their videos to the class using the interactive whiteboard with the help of myself. After viewing their peers' videos, we will make room for feedback where we will share the positives of each video and suggest any recommendations on how the video could be improved. I will have a collection of each group's mini video to reflect on and further analyse after class time. I will observe group collaboration and the way students maintain a positive and engaging relationship with the content they are required to work with. I will observe students' interest in watching their peers' videos carefully and giving constructive and positive feedback based on unit content and learning. So as for verbal interactions, this is where it is all practical and operative. So I will hear a lot of conversations among students that will be recording worthy for assessment and understanding purposes of students' learning. The levels of engagement will be demonstrated through students' participation in group work and feedback to their peers. So for this lesson, our measures of engagement will be engaging experiences that are highly cognitive, effective, and operative, as the students will be implementing their mini projects in pairs and using own ideas, knowledge, and understanding to construct the project. For engaging processes, we've got the student self-assessment and student community of reflection, as they are again having a class reflection of their learning and giving feedback to their peers on their mini projects. For engaging messages, we've got voice, knowledge, and control, as there will be whole class discussions reflecting learning once again, discussing their own ideas and putting it into action, and working together with a friend to achieve a common goal through their ideas and construction of a final product to present to their peers. A methodological design is a useful way to facilitate student learning and understanding as well as grading. It is important to consider the practicality and the different data collection tools and strategies to assess students' learning through the planned activities that I, as a teacher, bring to the classroom and facilitate in the education and learning of students. Students learn in universal ways, and it is important to recognize and consider different measures of learning by applying a range of data collection strategies. I chose the 3 that best suits my pedagogy, which was observation, the collection of work samples, and verbal interactions. I really have a huge passion for verbal interactions, as I believe it is one of the most important achievement measures of students' learning. There is so many rich and relevant information that I could adapt through verbal interactions of students that are immensely record-worthy. Implementing a research action plan will allow me to highly consider engagement tools that I could effectively use within my lessons to keep my students in task through operative experiences. Using the ME framework in alignment with my pedagogy of dialogic teaching and learning will assist me in creating engaging experiences within the classroom context in which students will have a sense of passion for learning and education. Additionally, this type of methodological design also meets the Australian Professional Standards for Teachers through Standard 3, Plan for and implement effective teaching and learning, as I will be strategically planning engaging lessons and experiences for my students to implement within my pedagogy in order to provide students with effective learning and education. Therefore, I will be using action research plans to implement within my classroom to effectively make a difference in my students' education and learning, as well as improve my professional development. Thanks for watching!